Right. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Uh, I'm Jamie.
Danny, with the Hydra Brothers. Hello,
Um,
Hydra. Whatever.
Happy New Year.
They ain't gonna know that this is done 2 weeks before, you know.
Yeah, but they don't need to know them.
Yeah, true.
2 weeks before, it doesn't matter.
What it? What I mean, where are we today?
Right, so today we're at the London Transport Museum, and this is our New Year's special. Yeah, we on?
No, that's it. That's it.
Let's go in and see what's going on. We've just lifted and transported back in time to 1800. London looked very, very
Now I
different.
just want to pause there for a moment because we want to admire the picture in the background, and this is a closer up shot of it. This was London in the 1800s, and it's an artist's view of St Paul's Cathedral and the city from the south side of Blackfriars Bridge. This is long before the railway bridge was put in. So the bridge and the River Thames, it shows, are both crowded with goods and passenger traffic. Obviously, as time's gone on, things change, new bridges go in, and things start to look better. So a bit of history on this. In AD 43, invading Roman armies crossed the River Thames. They were the ones that actually founded London, which was a port settlement that became a major centre for world trade, which it still is now. The city grew over time, but it wasn't until the late 18th century that the rapid growth began, which created the urban giant of Victoria, London. In 1801, the first census was taken. There was nearly 1 million people living in London at that point. And then by 1901, when Queen Victoria died, the population had risen to 4.5 million people in the London County Council area, with another 2 million living in the growing ring of the suburbs beyond. Now this is a shot of Piccadilly Circus soon after it was completed in 1820. But 200 years ago, London was still a very compact place. If you walked for half an hour in any direction from Westminster Bridge or St Paul's Cathedral, you would be actually out in the country. For any short journeys that people did, it was usually walked. The narrow streets of central London are often crowded with pedestrians, livestock and horse-drawn vehicles, all jostling for road space. If you were very wealthy, you could actually afford a private carriage or ride around the town in the hired hackney coaches or sedan chairs. London's rapid expansion in the 19th century was almost completely unstructured. Streets didn't follow any fixed grid used for the American cities, nor the grand plans for reshaped European capitals like Paris and Vienna. A series of individual building schemes created a huge and sprawling metropolis with virtually no coordinated town planning. London was the largest, richest city in the world, but poverty and overcrowding were never far away from the famous streets and impressive public buildings. In the early 19th century, two new modes of transport came to the streets of London. Both were fashionable developments copied from Paris. The first was the cab, short for cabriolet. This was a light two-wheeled vehicle which was easy to manoeuvre in the city. Horse-drawn cabs had become a popular alternative to the heavy, old four-wheeled hackney carriages for hire on the streets. The design was gradually refined into the familiar Victorian Hampson cab. The second innovation was the omnibus, meaning for all in Latin. It was the name of a hail and ride coach service started in Paris in 1828. English coach builder George Gillibert brought the idea to London the following year. Gillibert's service was launched on the 4th of July 1829. He chose the busy stagecoach route from Paddington, which was then a suburb on the edge of London, and he took it into bank in the city. Unlike a stagecoach, no advance booking was necessary. Passengers paid a conductor and could get on and off anywhere. It was not cheap, however, but Shillabeer's fares undercut the stagecoaches, and his service was way more convenient. Now, the standard Victorian horse buses could carry about 26 passengers. A pair of horses could only manage to pull a larger and heavier vehicle if it ran on smooth iron rails in the road. Horse trams, as they were called, were first used on a street railway in New York as early as 1834. And it actually took an American, a George Francis Train, interesting name, who laid the first short tramway in London in 1861. However, he made a mistake of using protruding step rails which put other vehicles at risk. Train, still a strange name, was forced to remove these tracks only after a few months of operation. Permanent street tramways were opened in London from 1870, and they were using vehicles twice the size of a bus. The tram companies could carry far more passengers and offer much lower fares. Now, this particular tram was built in 1884, and it was fully restored after spending many years as a hen house in Kent. Here's a view of it now. It was originally built by John Stephenson of New York and shipped across the Atlantic for service in South London. By the 1850s, it could take longer to get across London by road than it took to travel to the capital by train from Brighton, which was about 50 miles away. The railways made it easier to get to London, but in all, it contributed to the growing congestion on London streets. In 1860, work began on the first attempt to solve this problem, an underground railway. The Metropolitan Railway was designed to link three of the London's mainline termini with the city. It was built mostly in shallow cuttings excavated along the street. This was known as the cut and cover method of construction. The first section of the Metropolitan opened from Paddington to Farringdon on the 10th of January 1863, and the second line, the District, began operating 5 years later. The two were eventually linked to create a Circle Line in 1884. While being a huge engineering achievement and very well used, the early Underground had one big disadvantage. It was its steam locomotives. They created a permanent sulphurous fog in the stations and tunnels. This is the only surviving engine from the 1860s, Metropolitan number 23.
So this is what was the Central South London Railway, where it's become Northern.
Interesting thing about these trains, right, there was no ventilation at all, no windows. Because where it was underground, they obviously thought no need for windows. And I was supposed to make it very interesting when trying to especially during what's rush hour. Obviously, it would be very interesting as to like how people survived the journey, really.
It's very cramped. Not even much in the way of standing space.
That's not also as well. Again, as you can see here, the complete difference in how big it's address going out about then compared to now.
The Metropolitan Railway grew out of its original role as an underground link line in central London. By 1890, its main extension line had been pushed out overground into the northwest suburbs deep into London's countryside. The company chairman, Sir Edward Watkin, had grandiose plans to run the railway through to Manchester and in the other direction to Paris through a proposed Channel Tunnel. He was a man ahead of his time. Watkin's successors came up with a more practical and profitable scheme. The Met was the only railway to become a successful property developer, using surplus land alongside the line to build new housing estates. The whole area was marketed as Metroland, a name first devised in 1915. Powerful electric locomotives had been introduced in 1922 to haul the fast mainline passenger trains from the city out to Metroland. This is locomotive number 5, John Hampton, and was used on these services until 1961. London's road transport progressed from being horse-drawn to horse-drawn on rails, to electricity on rails, to electricity on no rails, and then finally to diesel buses. Since then, we've moved on to diesel hybrids and full electrics. It's almost like we've gone round in a complete circle. Now over to Danny for some fun on the train simulator, with voice guidance provided by Sidney Holloway.
Hi. Hello. Welcome to driving seat for the modern underground train. This line carries from Gardner to Hampshire 345 East the Cornerstone transports tens of thousands of customers each day. It will be your job to monitor and drive the train as it completes its important journey. Along the way, we'll see how engineers switch the driver and control of the train and tweaks its moving. Let's get started. Customers are waiting to board the train. Release the doors by pressing the open doors button. You know, this train can hold a maximum of 1,500 people. Watch CCTV soon to see if everyone is safe. When you are ready to leave, close the doors by pressing the close door button. Modern trains are operated by computers and pilots. Turn on the automatic flashers.
Welcome to this complex special.
When the letting train emergencies, press the activity pedal.
This complex special. It's still driver who's come back then. Now I get to see my hours of if closing works out.
Customers are waiting. Release the doors by pressing the open door button.
So what's the matter? It's not a big scumbag. It's full of your name hole. Come on.
When everyone is on safety, close the doors by pressing the close door button.
No, I've got to be a good boy. Not. Don't roll up. Hurry up, scumbags. Let's go.
The doors tell to close this time. It's up to the driver to solve the problem. Press the open door button to close the doors. Now, great job. Did you know customers can pull thousands of door jams a day by holding the doors?
Was there scumbags?
Now let's see how to drive the train ourselves. Pull the throttle handle towards it to start the train. Then, pull towards it. Try needle and we're off. Every driver has to be trained to navigate the road. We are approaching the speed limit sign. Use to match the sweet spot. Great job. You're matching the speed limit. This is half the traffic. We are approaching the speed limit.
We run.
Maximum speed. Well done for keeping an eye on the speed limits and arriving safely at the station. It takes many weeks of training to learn how to do this on a real train. Customers are waiting. Release the doors. When everyone is on safety, close the doors. Time to give control back to the computer. Press the automatic operations button. The computer will take you to cut. Electricity changes. There's a problem with the pantograph on the control. It's your job to fix it. Press the pantograph up button to reconnect the phone back to overhead power. Well done, they are connected to the power. The electric motors need a lot of power to pull all 360 times of the train's weight. Press the button again.
Look, well, no hands. Real quick now. Real quick.
Remember to monitor the train. Press the button too long. Congratulations, your journey on the underground was a success. You have helped many people get to their destination using automatic scanning drive systems, and along the way, you solved common problems every person and since never engineering solved.
Thank you for traveling on New South Wales. And this is your driver, my mate Daddy, signing off.
Now we can't show you everything that's in the Transport Museum on this video, as it would take too long, and the museum wouldn't get any money to help do all the projects that they've got to do, like restoring train carriages, namely one of them being the old Q-stop carriage. Also, it's advisable to pay for and book your tickets and time slots online before you visit. Otherwise, we'll hand over to Danny and Jamie for signing off.
So yeah, that was the London Transport Museum.
Okay. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to apologise for the bad jokes I threw out in the video. But most important thing that me and Jen want to say at the moment is say big thank you to our cameraman for the day, Jonny. It's been an absolute help. Absolute diamond. It's been a pleasure to come and explore the Transport Museum with you, mate.
Good that you got to experience it in exactly the same way as we did. Yeah, so you can see I spent some money. Get a nice new hat.
He's got his bag.
Nice new bag. So this is us signing off. We wish you all a happy new year. Enjoy the January sales when they come round.
Yep. And then next for the this year coming up, a lot more chaos, a lot more fun, and a lot more challenges also.
Yeah.
And hopefully, finally, me beating him twice.
We'll see.
Yeah. And on that note, take it easy, like, subscribe, and see you soon.
Goodbye.